So I picked up a recipe that was available at the grocery store, and the reason why I liked it was because there were very few ingredients, and also it had a couple of ingredients I was growing in my garden, and that gave me a great idea to do this recipe for you guys. I'm going to add a couple of more things. Now, if you cannot find this sausage at your local grocery store, just go ahead and get you 1 pound of pork or a pound of ground beef, even if you don't like to eat pork, and just add a couple of other things to it just to give it a little flavor. I would suggest like a half a teaspoon of garlic powder and onion powder, and then maybe a pinch of white pepper. If you don't have white pepper, black pepper would be fine, and about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. So first we'll head out to the garden and grab some spinach. I've been harvesting spinach all spring, and I'm just about to the end of the harvest for this little bed. It was starting to bolt on me, so I just went ahead and harvested all the rest of it. You will need probably a good pound of spinach if you buy it at the grocery store, only because you know how much it wilts down when you cook it. So I just went ahead and started pulling out my plants and just clipping off the leaves. And then I grabbed one of these scallions that I've been enjoying also all spring. Just really good, nice and easy to grow right there from the garden. You can usually find seeds for scallions at places like Dollar Tree, Dollar General. Just pick up a couple of packs of those and throw them in your garden bed, and they'll just start popping up everywhere, and they're so fun to use in recipes. And then what I decided to also use, which the recipe did not call for, were some of my sugar snap peas. That would give a little bit of a crunch to the recipe, and you know, it's a nice spring vegetable. It really goes well with the spinach and the scallions, so if you have some of those, that would work in here as well. And then the cilantro has been looking really nice all spring, so I'm also going to use some of that. So here are some of our fresh ingredients, and I mentioned I'm going to use a couple of other ingredients, and those are red pepper flakes and ginger. I saw this little jar of ginger. It's a squeeze bottle. I saw it at the grocery store, and I thought, oh, that looks so easy. So I grabbed that, and so that's what I'm using. Of course, you can always just use fresh ginger if you have some laying around, and just peel that with the back of your spoon, and I would suggest grating it. So after I trimmed my sugar snap peas, I want to get those strings out, you know. I gave my peas a quick chop into thirds. And now it's time to brown the sausage. I'm actually using 2 pounds of sausage, so I have a little left over for the next day. And I really want to get a nice brown on the sausage. And then I just took my spoon and I broke it up real good until it was a little bit even crispy. So it's brown, and then the little small pieces are crispy. And the directions didn't say to do this, but you really need to drain that on some paper towels. So I set that aside, and I wiped out the remaining grease out of the pan and just put a splash of water in here to kind of loosen up those brown bits. And in went the pepper flakes, about a teaspoon of them, and a couple of tablespoons of the ginger. And I'm on about medium-low heat. And so now go in the sugar snap peas. I also picked some of my Chinese kale that I had growing in my green stock system. So a few of those leaves went in here along with the spinach. A lot of spinach, but it'll cook down to nothing. And just give it a quick cover. Let it cook for a few minutes. And takes about probably 5 minutes for it really to start to cook down. And now in goes my sausage. You can see how much grease was left behind. And another splash of water. And now in goes the scallions, which I chopped up pretty good. And I also wanted to add a little bit of lime zest, which I forgot to mention earlier, but just a little bit of lime zest in there. And then I cut it in half, and I want to put a little bit of the juice as well, right there. And a little bit of cilantro leaves, which will wilt down a little bit. And then just serve it with some rice. And I felt like it was a little bit dry. I did add a few more cilantro leaves, but I also added a little bit of teriyaki sauce right there on top just to give it a little bit of moisture. So there you go. I hope you can give it a try. It was super easy. Thanks so much for watching, and y'all have a beautiful day.